jump in and join the club and float this Whiskey River reservoir. We're gonna spend the weekend in the deep end of a diving ball.
Do we have sound? Houston, do we have sound?
I have no idea. Do we have sound?
I think you do. I think we do. Can you
Hey,
hear?
J9, do we have sound?
Do we have sound, J9? Can you hear Shanda?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Shanda's just got a case of the gnats. Gnats. Blow those.
I know, I
gnats
really
out.
do have gnats. It's that time of year, but I always do the little cup with the vinegar and I suck them in. Jilly says that they can hear us.
Oh, yay. Thank you. The audio gods are being kind. How are you this morning, Shanda?
What a crazy goddamn week it's been.
Oh, it has been insane. It's been nuts. I'm making you large.
Large Marge.
Large. Here, move your high chair up one notch, will you? Okay, there you go. That's better.
I seem so far away from you. Like,
here,
I can't
I'll
reach
I'll
you.
fix it. Here, let me give you some Gandalf. Here's some Gandalf. There you go. Okay, that's a little better. Yeah.
Happy Friday, Karen Daly.
Happy Friday, Julie Love. Happy Friday, J9 Campbell. Happy
I'm trying to
Friday.
get over to the Natural Progressive to see who's over there. Hey, Book Hermit.
Book Hermit. Kim's there. Hi, Kim.
Yep.
Ron Wagner.
Ron.
Minus
welcome.
worse things.
Hey, Stevie.
Stevie.
Let's talk, because after I left the meeting last night, after your show, I was like, oh, why the hell are we going on Accidental Activist when we should be going on her channel tonight?
Yeah, let's try a production with sound this time, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Poor Stevie. But welcome to Roar. That's just what happens when you come to Roar Media.
That's your initiation. You get the gremlin punk. So anyway, wow, this has been a crazy week, and it's not getting any less crazy. Oh my gosh, here, let me get this out of here. I want to show off this beautiful card that I didn't make that we're not going to talk about, but when will the economy collapse? Well, it's collapsing before our eyes.
April. I'm betting April.
April. Oh yeah, that's much better. The black was giving you more bugs.
I know.
Yeah, no, April.
I was cold.
The economy is going to crash in April. Hey, Shah-Yar. I wrote in one of the texts last night, I wrote Shah-Yar, but it's Shah-Yar. I apologize. Anytime I mispronounce anybody's name, it's because I'm ignorant and I can't read on top of that. So, yeah. Wow. Let's give a shout out. Now, Shanda, you still have not added Brave New Future. And who else? Who else do we need on that card?
Savage Joy,
yes.
Redneck Economics, and Generational Change.
Yeah, that card's just going to fill up so quick. And
Well, I'm going to have to do another card.
Yeah, let's do another card. And the brown likes bugs, so you don't use the brown background.
No more brown. No more brown.
That's
hey, Brent McKinney. Welcome.
Brent, good morning, Brent McKinney. But yeah, that's we're growing. We are
growing. Hey, but I want to tell you guys, Jen Perlman was on Tim Pool with Luke Wadowski. So it was a panel of Tim Pool and Luke Wadowski 2 nights ago. It's so worth a watch. I am so proud of Jen because she's doing exactly what so many of us are talking about, and that is bridging the gap between the right and the left and explaining to the base of the right that, hey, just because the neoliberals are in control in the Democratic Party, that's not who the left is. That is not at all who the left is. She did an amazing job. I was just screaming and cheering for her. Go watch it. It's definitely a good show.
Yeah, that's kind of shocking. Tim Pool, isn't he right winger?
Well, Tim Pool, okay, so he wasn't up until he endorsed Trump 3 months ago, but he's always been very right breaking on most things. But, there's so many areas where we overlap with the Republicans. They want out of the wars just as bad as we do. They believe in Medicare for all too. There's just so many common ground issues. And if we stick to policies and don't play politics, we can actually accomplish things by being hand in hand with the base of the right.
That's the only way we're going to gain power, folks. We need to reach across the aisles not the IOL, the IOLs. We need to reach out to our sisters and brothers because the establishment, the oligarch, is rigged against us, and they are purposely keeping us divided. So we keep screwing ourselves. That's that's very
right.
strong.
Well, Julie says because the right wingers call us communists, and that's right. We don't believe in communism. We believe in democratic socialism and balancing out capitalism with social programs. You can't have one or the other. It totally is extreme, and most of us understand that. But explaining to the right that our positions, so they're not just hearing these stupid talking heads on CNN who attack us just as much. The left attacks us, the neolibs, just as much as the Republic.
Yeah, absolutely. And Julie, I hear you. And it's all in the nuance of the conversation itself. It's say, hey, wait a minute. Tell me why you feel that way. Well, would you think about this? And you don't have to do it in a condescending way. Just be firm and fair.
Jen did such a great job of explaining who we truly are on the left and that we are not what we are portrayed as in the media and by these politicians.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're definitely on track, and our super intelligent focus groups in our chats everywhere. We want to hear what you got to say about this stuff. I want to do a mail call segment here because I got this little card in the mail yesterday, and this I'll show it here. This is a card. These Democratic parties are doing reorgs, and this is for Thurston County, and I got this card yesterday, and it's from, who's this guy? This guy's name is Rob Richards. He's running for chair of the Thurston County Democrats in Washington State. As chair, I want to bring my skills and experience to the e-board, strengthen ties with the community, build our bench of future candidates bench, and work towards the goal of a Democrat in every seat. I hope to have your support. Vote for chair of the Thurston County Democrats on December 14th. What I found really telling about this were two things. Number one, he got endorsed by neoliberals, Denny Heck, Sam Hunt, Lori Doolin, and Jessica Bateman. But what's really telling is he has a list of everybody. I'm a PCO, that's a precinct committee officer, that's, in Washington State. But what's really telling is who he made the letter out to. It's Dave Lefebvre, and I checked, and it's correct on there. That's not my first name, so I would say that you got some splaining to do. If you can't even get this right, how do you expect to run a district in the Democratic Party? That's my mail call for today. Thanks,
Dave's
Rob.
not here, man.
Yeah, Dave's not here. Dave left the building long time ago. So
Who's Dave?
Who's Dave? Dave. So anyway, that's just I'm sure just a clerical error, but this is kind of a big deal since there's only so many PCOs. I'm thinking maybe couple hundred of them. So yeah, you want to get those things right.
Even that. I mean, our county only has 100 spots. Half of those aren't full. But I was a PCO up until 2 weeks ago, and I'm no longer a PCO.
Congratulations!
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah. Hey, Barbara.
4 years I did my time.
Zox. Hey, Zox. What's going?
Hey,
Zox is in the house. There we go. Okay, well, I guess we better get going with the show now.
Kermit, you're in Washington State?
Book, where you at, Book? You coastal area, eastern Washington?
He's in Pierce.
Oh, you have my sympathies. Watch out. They,
yeah, right.
They hunt you down and shoot you in Pierce. So,
yeah.
What is this? This is Chuck.
Well, this is stimulus talk and where we're at with the stimulus as of this morning.
Okay, this is the husband of Chucky. Chucky. They call him Chucky.
Failed again. The progress we were promised on COVID disaster relief stalled in Washington again. The Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, rejected the $908 billion bipartisan proposal. The lawmakers
it's not real.
behind that plan call it the only game in town. Senator Joe Manchin among them. He said during this news hour just last night that they were close. 90% there, he said. They're not. And the House has adjourned until at least Tuesday. All this while jobless claims jumped. More than 850,000 Americans claiming unemployment insurance for the first time last week. That's the most since September, and 120,000 more than expected. CNBC's Kayla Tausche now. Kayla, another night with no deal. Where do the talks stand?
Well, Shep, lawmakers have until tomorrow night to fund the government first and foremost for another week. That would keep relief negotiations open in the meantime. But the path forward, as Leader McConnell's office made clear to its counterparts, is uncertain at best. Both parties have top priorities that are seen as poison pills across the aisle. Republicans' broad liability shield for businesses, Democrats' high dollar figure for state and local governments. Now, McConnell's staff suggested both could be scrapped to get a deal, but not one or the other. Otherwise, there was no path forward. Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer, in a vitriolic speech on the Senate floor, called those two items false equivalencies. Lawmakers like Senator Manchin, who comprise this so-called 908 coalition, named for the size and the price tag of this bipartisan package, had hinted at progress earlier in the week after Democratic leadership signaled their support. But now some key senators on both sides of the aisle are signaling that a key element that is not included in that proposal is mandatory: direct checks.
If the Senate does not introduce and pass a relief proposal with this in it by next week, I will go to the floor and I will ask for an up or down vote on direct relief for working families.
That's a fucking Republicans.
Yeah, that was
a Republican.
That was Josh. Josh, and speaking of that, Josh and Bernie both said they would vote against it.
Yeah, I think I got a meme under this for Bernie.
Yeah, that was so. Josh is, he gets it. But
Joe Manchin says, "Oh no, we're close to passing it. There's no stimulus. Don't worry about that. We're gonna pass it."
Merry Christmas to you. You don't get anything. Happy Christmas. Go to hell.
Why did Joe Manchin have a handful of Mardi Gras beads in there?
I have no idea. What kind of beads were those? Are those
are Mardi Gras beads.
Oh, okay. I thought they were sex beads or something. Josh Hawley. Yes, Josh Hawley. There you go. Senator Josh Hawley, Republican, Montana, on the floor introducing $1,200 stimulus checks proposal with Bernie Sanders. We will not leave this town until we've voted up and or down on direct relief for working people. I think it's going to be down.
Well, they'll vote down, but at least they're calling for a fucking vote on it.
Yeah, they'll vote down, and then somebody will come in with a $600 figure, and they'll vote it in, right? Maybe.
Take these crumbs, you filthy peasants.
Crumbs. More soup, please. More soup. May I have more? Anyway, yeah, they're gonna jerk us around on this. This is all show and tell. Nothing.
Well, the vaccine's gonna roll out, and we've got Biden as president. The economy is gonna recover, and you don't need no stimulus. It'll just fix itself.
Oh, happy day! Oh, happy day! That's just so great. What do we have here? We got Kim. God, we brought Kim twice this week. What's going on, man?
Oh, well, Kim is talking about something that I said. What? 3 months ago?
3 months ago? Yeah, something like that.
Almost 3 months ago.
In another
that
life.
The Hunter Biden situation is not going to go away, and the Republicans are going to weaponize it, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Oh, here we go. Let's see what Kim's got to say.
Well, it turns out the allegations against Hunter Biden, that fake Russiagate story that you weren't supposed to believe because it was just Russian disinformation. It turns out that there's actually some merit to it, and Hunter Biden is now being investigated. In fact, he's been under investigation for the last 2 years, and this was completely suppressed and censored by the media. So yesterday, Hunter Biden, or at least the Biden-Harris transition team, issued this statement saying, this was officially through the Biden-Harris transition website, through their Build Back Better website. They issued this statement saying, I learned yesterday for the first time that the U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware advised my legal counsel also yesterday that they are investigating my tax affairs. I take this matter very seriously, but I am confident that a professional and objective review of these matters will demonstrate that I handled my affairs legally and appropriately, including with the benefit of professional tax advisors.
Because he's a good boy.
And then,
he's a good boy.
The Biden-Harris transition, their statement said, President-elect Biden is deeply proud of his son, who has fought through difficult challenges, including the vicious personal attacks of recent months, only to emerge stronger, they said. So what is this about? Because now, a lot of people are saying, well, it's just taxes. When you're that rich, you always get investigated for taxes. Trump's taxes, look at him. And he only paid $750. So, Hunter Biden, no big deal. This is what they're saying. This is not about taxes. Do not be fooled. Just like Al Capone had nothing to do with taxes. Okay? This has to do with Hunter Biden being accused, which many of us believe is real, that he used his connection to his father We know that he has the ear of his father anytime he wants, that he basically sold that connection for massive profits to foreign entities, to foreign powers. So Hunter Biden was saying to these foreign governments, hey, listen, I'm Hunter Biden. My dad is vice president of the United States, or my dad was, or now my dad's going to be president of the United States probably in the future. So I'm valuable because I can call my daddy anytime I.
Why is any of this even in question? That's what they do.
Because when they went after him for the crack smoking and the porn, I don't know if it was underage or not. There's a lot of speculation. Those things are not chargeable. Like, they're character assassinations, but you're not going to charge them in a court of law for smoking a crack pipe, right? Or having sex that they don't know who it is. But this is something the Democrats or the Republicans can hold on to. Now, we already know that the Senate committee already did a deep investigation into this. And I brought that 3 months ago with the link to the actual 76-page report, which pretty much said, yeah, he's corrupt as all get out. They knew he was corrupt as all get out, even the Democrats that were on that committee. And I think that they're going to make this stick. I mean, remember, the Democrats put the Republicans through hell the last 4 years with impeachment and this stupid ass shit that they would never get to stick. And now it's the Republicans' payback.
Oh yeah, that's where it is. It's, the personal life, but
Right.
as they say to some of these victims or non-victims, if you don't want it out there, don't record yourself getting a foot job smoking drugs. It's not a good idea. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
He looks like he'd be fun to hang out with.
Oh yeah. Well, after that visual,
But I gotta say, I came across a report yesterday. Oh, I love this one. This is my favorite. But I came across a report that is implementing, and this is alleged, don't sue me, I'm just speculating here, that Harris has a lot of connection with this Chinese energy company and with this whole Biden bullshit too. So
yeah, I'm sure we're gonna
that pan out.
Yeah, we're gonna reap the rewards of her bad choices as well. But
Is he wearing a jockstrap in this?
I don't know what he's doing. Maybe it's a tool belt. Is it a tool belt, or does he need a winch on something? I don't
who
know.
poses for pictures like that?
Is that really Hunter?
That's really Hunter.
Oh, which party was this at? There's a swimming pool in the background, isn't there?
I think the one with the granddaughter, Bo's daughter.
Oh,
she
you
seems
gotta
to have
be
been the one
kidding
that
me.
took this picture.
Ho
yeah.
ho ho! Now that the Christmas trim on there—that's all extra. But that
Yeah,
was
right.
just a jock strap or something. He was being funny. It was a party.
Right.
I mean, this is kind of unfair. Now, I'll throw this out just quickly. Remember when Crystal Ball got jammed over at MSNBS for going to a Halloween party in a sexy, skimpy outfit,
Oh, yeah.
and she was holding a sex toy? Basically, that ruined her career at MSNBS. And I would wear it as a badge of honor, but those got leaked, and she ran for office and everything else. So, when you open up Pandora's box with this kind of shit, I would say this was worse in the sense of, where Crystal's wasn't. That was somebody
Right.
third-party shot. She was at a party, a private party. So whatever, just be careful when you're in public. Don't get yourself into a position like that. I've never done that. Never. Maybe. So you brought this. I love this.
Yeah, you picked a former Raytheon board member for defense secretary. Biden, yes, but he's a black one.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Now, Bart, listen to your dad. Homer's always right. Homer Biden. Yeah, this is, and that pick, they need to give him a waiver because that position that was originally put in so the citizens could have citizens oversight over the secretary, but they need a waiver to put a military person in there. Give me a break. I mean, the guy's on Raytheon's board and several boards of other. I mean, waiver that with a straight face.
I'm hearing a lot of Democrats saying that they're not going to sign on to this waiver, so it's a moot point. They're not going to let him through.
Well, they better not sign on to it, and they better not sign on to a lot of this crap. I mean, somebody's beating the hell out of the progressives in the Democrats' National Party. There's 100 supposed progressive. No, there's not. When you have the vice chair of the Progressive Caucus of the Democratic Party being Mark Pocan, really. He's about.
Hey, what do
yeah.
you think of Pramila getting voted as chair of the Progressives?
Well, I hope it doesn't backfire on her. I hope she doesn't have to bend the knee.
Well, she will. See, and that's what happens when we put our progressives in leadership roles within the Democratic Party. That's when we lose them. That's when the neolibs break them intentionally to break
Yeah.
us.
Well, do you want to get into it before we show this clip, or do you not want to?
No.
All right, because I want to hear the input on Nina running. So let's run this clip, and this is Richard Medhurst, Pappy, as it used to be, and your boyfriend.
I know, Chris.
I mean, in the short term, getting rid of Trump, I didn't want Trump around any more than anyone else. In the short term, you sell out, in essence, every position that you purport to stand for to support the Democratic Party, which in Europe would be considered a far-right party, and you get Biden. But in the long term, it's very dangerous because what you've shredded is your credibility. You've proven that you will fight and stand for nothing. And what we will see after Trump leaves office is an enraged his base, millions of people who truly believe, because they live in their own echo chambers, the way we live, the liberal class lives in echo chambers, the CNN or NPR or MSNBC or the New York Times. I mean, the Pew Research Center did studies this summer. 91% of the readership of the New York Times identifies as supporters of the Democratic Party, 87% for NPR, 95% for MSNBC. And then, of course, you've got the other side. 95% of those who watch Fox identify as being members of the Republican Party. But if you can't speak across that divide, if there's no way to communicate, then you flirt, and I think we're already flirting with acts of violence directed at, because of these weird conspiracy theories, the deep state, people like Dr. Fauci, and of course, mainstream Democratic candidates who will be blamed by, this segment of the population for rigging and stealing the election, as well as the media outlets that serve the interests of the Democratic Party. And they're not wrong. Those media outlets, during this campaign did absolutely everything possible to shut down information that was damaging to Joe Biden. And that just wasn't just the data that was on Hunter Biden's discarded laptop, but Biden's connections to China and his taped conversation with the former president of the Ukraine. And then, of course, they kept referring to the Podesta emails as in the New York Times as misinformation. It's not misinformation. They're real. I mean,
yeah, I was trying to get to that point. Yeah, they were real. And the fact that, we allowed the CNN to say that it was illegal to look at the WikiLeaks, here we are 4 years later and people still don't believe that they were real.
Yeah, and what's next, Shanda? What are they going to say we can't say? What?
Oh, we're not allowed to say that, how we pick the head of our country is fraudulent, or they'll remove us.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, Jilly said, yeah, it's YouTube will delete anybody who say the elections are not. So, yeah. Hey, Boiled Rope Lamppost. I didn't get to say hi.
That's an awesome name.
Salt Lakers. Yeah, I see Boiled Rope around quite a bit. And Salt Lakers. Hey. This is, they're coming for us. And I just got an alert before we started the show. All these channels, these accounts that I produce for these individuals, I'm going to need two-factor authentication next week. So that's going to screw me up, trying to get to their phone and say, hey, can you let me in? So we're going to have to take measures to get that taken care of. So it's censorship, everybody. Anything they do, and I don't know if you have noticed, those of you who still patronize Facebook, but those of you who still patronize Facebook, They turn on and off alerts. They have been testing some certain things every day, and I believe it's their aim to, more censorship. Of course, aren't they going after Mark Zuckerberg now to break up Facebook?
Well, okay, just like they went after Gates in the late 90s to try to break up Microsoft, I think it's more just for look, because who's hand in hand with Silicon Valley? It's the Democrats. So the Democrats are not going to allow Facebook to be torn up. That's an amazing tool for them. Look at the suppression that they did over the last 4 years just on Facebook alone. But the reason that we're seeing this ramping up is because come January 21st, they've got to have mechanisms in place to completely quash the right and the left from saying truths.
Yeah, that's their target date. I think you're exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly right. January 21st, the first day, official day. He takes his oath on the 20th, and whatever the hell an oath means anymore. Every damn representative and president that we've had over the last couple of decades have violated their oath of office, and I'll argue with you all day long. And
No, they have.
Can I just say, these illegal wars? That's it. That's number one disqualifier for your oath. So yeah, that's where it's at. 21st, they need to have this stuff in place, and why not just have that as a target date? So. There you go.
Well, what about Europe? Chris Foster, which chat are you in? I think you might be over at the Natural Progressive. I mean, he can speak to that in the chat about how they're doing the same thing, but with their, look at what they did to Corbyn over there.
Yeah. Jeffrey Denton, Donnie and Nancy both recognize Juan Guaido as president of Venezuela, even though nobody voted for him to be president. If they can do that, I mean, why can't we just do it? I mean, yeah, Jeffrey, absolutely.
Yeah. I brought a Abby Martin Empire Files report about that issue exactly.
Okay, well, let's get to it then. We have Caitlin Johnstone liked this, and I see that we follow the same. Shanda and I follow many of the same people. What is this about?
This is your periodic reminder that Julian Assange has been detained since 2010, currently held in solitary confinement in a high security prison where 65 out of 160 inmates are COVID-19 positive for exposing the corruption and war crimes of scum in charge of both parties in the U.S.
Yeah, and they have crosshairs on Julian Assange. Thank you, Jeffrey, for that one. All the time, so they could drop the hammer on him anytime they wanted to. So they're just torturing the guy.
I'm so scared we're just gonna get he died.
Yeah, like, that's what you're gonna get.
Oh, sorry, passed away.
Who did we murder last night? What was the gentleman's name? Chat. Help
Brandon Brooks, something like that.
Yeah, they murdered him last night, and I did not follow that, but I
didn't either. State murder.
What's this? UK bar applies to become a church to skirt lockdown rules.
Why not?
Church at the bottle of gin. I like this. Why not? Oh, tequila. Sorry. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I want to start our own church. Let's start a church.
Yeah, well, a lot of people have been worshiping the bottle for a long time. I used to worship tacos at these bars. They were the best tacos I'd ever had.
Church of Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Stevie. Brandon Bernard. Might you and Shanda talk a little bit about Brandon Bernard tonight, Stevie? Possibly. I think that's the least that we can do in this.
Yeah, Stevie, if you have info, please, because I haven't kept up on that case. Really.
That would be great. Here's another one you brought. Traditional Canadian girl. Always the Canucks.
Always the connects. Why is my church closed and the strip clubs are open? And the Church of Satan response, progress.
Shit.
They're really coming into their own, that Church of Satan.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, I think we worship at Satan's pleasure in this country. At least our leadership does. And,
Our
and you know,
leadership does.
some people will argue that Satan's not a bad thing, but I just the connotation. Yeah, I
Oh
get
yeah,
it.
Lucifer and the Morning Star. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I know all about it.
I get it. And
Beelzebub.
we have your Richard Wolff, one of your better
Hey, I love
economists.
Richard Wolff,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
he's great. We've got two clips, but this one is, what is this one?
You're not allowed to invest in Chinese companies that support the CCP.
Okay, good. This is good because the Chinese market was going crazy last night, and I believe all the markets are going to be going crazy all the way till.
Could you imagine if China said you can't invest in any company that has holdings in Raytheon, Honeywell, any of these huge military complex for the U.S.? It's just insane.
I don't think anybody would have a problem with that because they're worried about investing in toilet paper. So there you go. All right, let's hear what Richard's got to say.
My next update has to do with an order Mr. Trump gave out right after he learned that he wasn't going to be president much longer. Here's what the order he did does. U.S. citizens are banned from owning shares in 31 companies that do business with the Chinese military establishment. Now, what's this for? Let me be clear that we all understand. If Americans can no longer hold shares, buy shares, investors cannot invest in 31 huge companies, by the way, in China that are global mega corporations, but that have special relationships with the Chinese military, they will sell those shares to other people. There are plenty who want to buy them, so it will have the following effect on the Chinese companies. Zero. It'll just mean that instead of a U.S. investor, it's a British investor or a German investor, or an Italian investor, or an African investor. Get the picture? So what's this for? Well, it's also a very bad precedent. What are you doing? Telling people in your country that you're going to ban them from owning shares in other companies that do business with the military. Guess what, American audience of mine? Most of the big corporations in the United States, American corporations, have dealings with the American military. It's the largest single consumer of goods and services in the United States. Our military is. So, of course, every major corporation, or at least the vast majority, do business. Do you really want to establish the precedent that all over the world, people who currently own shares in General Motors or Ford or Raytheon or General Electric or Amazon, Facebook, or you get the picture? They all do business with the American military. Is that a precedent you want to set? That's a precedent's going to come back and haunt you and hurt you.
They don't care.
Yeah, no, they don't care.
They don't care. I mean, this goes along with everything else. What you can't say, what you can't invest in, where you can't go, when you can't, you wear a mask, you got to take a vaccination, all this stuff. We're being kettled into doing anything that they want us to do. So there you go. We've got something TMZ. What happened here? We lost another movie entertainer.
Rest in peace. I'm not exactly sure what he passed away from, maybe COVID, but don't quote me on that. So yeah, Friday's star Tommy Tiny Lister died at 62.
Oh shit.
He was a funny in those movies. And Friday, he was the big guy, that was the bully.
Yeah, in a time when we need gratuitous laughs and things, because it's terrible to lose anybody. But there we go. Speaking of comedians,
Yeah, Trump takes his election to the highest court in a special episode of Judge Judy. I want to stop the world from killing itself. And then he's tapped Ted Cruz to argue his case for him. So feeling cute might save the republic.
Didn't he have some nice things to say about Ted Cruz when he ran against him for president in 2016?
That his wife was ugly.
Yeah, I mean, really? Really? And you're tapping the guy that you besmirched his one and only, well, maybe, well, his...
Well, he's smart because Ted Cruz is how Bush won Florida back in 2000. So Ted Cruz was on that legal team, and he designed the argument that actually secured it. For him, so.
Isn't Ted Cruz from Canada? I
know,
I think
right?
so. Whatever.
He has dual citizenship, or his parents had dual citizenship.
Oh,
I don't know if
okay.
he still does.
Yeah, I must say he looks a little bit more believable with the beard, because the hatchet face look he has without the beard is really
He reminds me of Eddie Munster all grown up.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, does
that whiny voice.
Jilly, do you have a doll hair with his hair on it too, or was that somebody else? I saw earlier Jilly said she has a doll with hair like that, so Shepard Smith's hair. Was that Jilly or?
Yeah.
Anyway, I want some. So if you can part with your doll hair, send it to Oz, and he will JB weld it to his head. Just
send bags of hair to Oz.
Yeah, bags of hair. And speaking of hair, I've got a new hairpiece for Beauty and the Boomer. I hope everybody approves and appreciates
I'm excited.
the links that I go through to put something to warm my skull on Saturday nights. Beauty and the Boomer. What do we got? We got Persons of the Year. So what is this? Some alien thing? It's supposed to be Person of the Year. Are they attached at the shoulder, at the ass, or whatever?
Oh my God, something.
This came over last night at about 8:30 at night. And I was in a meeting, and everybody in the meeting started vomiting. They said, "Excuse me, I'm gonna go throw up." But this was not unexpected. Don't they do this? They did it with Trump. They did it with Obama. They did it with all of them, haven't they? At some point in time, many of the presidents have been Person of the Year. They did it with a guy named Adolf back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a big honor.
No, it's not. And I think the one that busted me up the most was Ann Coulter.
Oh my God!
I mean,
man.
really? All I remember was her giraffe neck and her big feet, and I thought
had her feet on it.
Yeah, she was crossed her legs with her big, $5,000 ugly shoes on, and it was like Person of the Year, Ann Coulter. Really? Anyway, let's get back to some serious stuff. I love Abby, and what are they going to talk about here, Shanda?
Venezuela and how we can just declare that their elections are BS when their elections are a hell of a lot more secure than a certain country we all live in.
Oh, geez.
We've all heard the same things about Venezuela coming from every corporate news outlet. Venezuela's a dictatorship, and Maduro is a dangerous tyrant, further consolidating power through fraudulent elections. Weirdly enough, not many dictatorships have elections. Certainly not over 20 in the last 20 years, like Venezuela has. And there's a funny thing about how the US media and political establishment views Venezuela's elections. They're illegitimate, except when the US-backed opposition party has major victories, which they have twice very recently. One of those was the 2015 National Assembly election, where they won a supermajority in the body that is similar to the US Congress. That election was deemed legitimate by the US, but all the other ones before and after that fraudulent, including the one that took place this past weekend. It's also telling that you hear more about Venezuela's elections than probably any other country. Why is the US empire so focused on democracy in Venezuela? Could it be that Venezuela is an oil-rich nation that doesn't follow the dictates of big oil? Well, if you're interested in learning more context about Venezuela and why it's been in the crosshairs of the empire for the last 20 years, we've done tons of reporting on the ground, including the deadliest phase of protests in 2017, which you can watch on our YouTube playlist called Reporting from Venezuela. But the propaganda campaign is an endless cycle, rebooted, every time there's a democratic election in the country. So with renewed claims that Venezuela must be saved, I wanted to sift through fact from fiction with a journalist who was just on the ground observing the election. So I'm pleased to be joined from New York by Kay Pritzker, a reporter with Breakthrough News, a new outlet I hope everyone checks out. Kay just returned from a week in Caracas. Thank you so much for joining us on the Empire Files, Kay.
Thanks for having me.
So, Kay, what did you observe on the ground that dispelled that notion that the votes were not transparent and the election not free and fair?
Yeah, the Venezuelan election system is very thorough. I mean, very thorough, more thorough than what I've seen in the United States, what we have here. So when you enter a Venezuelan polling place, the first thing that happens is you take a electronic fingerprint scan. They have these fingerprint scanners, and the fingerprint is matched with the fingerprint that's connected to your national ID card. So there are two forms of verification, the ID card and the fingerprint. And if there's a mismatch, if the fingerprint doesn't match the person on the card, or if you don't match the person on the card, then...
Well, how about
That's a great interview. Go watch it, Empire Files. So that way it was 20 minutes. So I really just had to pick and choose what I brought. But I think it really speaks to how they secure theirs and we don't secure ours.
Yeah, I know people are going to balk at the fingerprint. You know what, guys?
National ID card. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's in your phone. They want to put it in your biometric. So, that's it. So
to break it to you, you already got one. It's called a Social Security card.
Yeah, and again, so yeah, Venezuela elections are more secure than ours. No surprise there. What do we have? Oh, I love this.
Oh, what is this? You brought this.
Did I? I thought you did.
Oh, no, I did. Okay, so over 900 cars paid for each other's meals at a Dairy Queen drive-through the other day, which started with a random act of kindness from one man paying for the car behind him at the drive-through, and then every car that went through just kept paying it forward.
Yeah, that's a nice trend to set, although it's not good for our vegan goals in life. I
think it makes you feel good, but is this actually helping anybody? Because you got to have money in order to get in that line to order food. So, yeah, you're being kind to your, brothers and sisters, but you're not helping those in need.
You're being kind to those privileged enough to be able to go and eat shit food at Dairy Queen. So, yeah, right. they're people too. But I would have been more impressed had those cars picked up an extra meal and dropped it at a homeless camp.
Well, they do this at Starbucks all the time around Christmas, right? You hear Starbucks stories. Oh, they bought the coffee behind me or in front of me. But who gives a shit? You guys can afford a $10 latte? Okay.
Yeah, it is privilege, but for what it is, there you go, the thought that counts. This is one of my favorite stories this week.
Yeah, this is interesting. So I brought a story 2 days ago about a home in Portland that was evicted on, and there was protesters out there. Well, they've created an Chaz Chop zone, and Portland's getting a little worried.
Yes, they are. My hometown.
Protesters blocking streets with barricades and booby traps in Portland in an effort to save a black and indigenous family from eviction. For decades now, this one family owned the Red House, a historic home in a historically black neighborhood that's been rapidly gentrifying. They lost the home to foreclosure a couple of years back, but they never left. The family accusing big banks of using predatory tactics to take away their home.
Of course.
A developer plans to demolish it now. Police came knocking this week, but a group of activists is holding them back. Here's NBC's Jay Gray.
Dozens have been gathering, some camping here since September, frustrated by the foreclosure and eviction of the Kenny family, who had lived in the home for generations.
Who wants to give up their home? Let me come and take your home from you, see how you feel. I bet you'll fight. You might do something else.
Tuesday, after complaints of a crime spike in the area,
there is an enormous increase in car break-ins, home break-ins, garage break-ins.
Police moved in, moving back activists, seizing 2 handguns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition inside the residence.
Portland police share the community's concern about the barricades, occupation, and criminal activity on North Mississippi.
One of several streets now occupied by protesters who, at this point, have shown no sign of leaving, despite requests from Portland's police chief, who has this warning for those who live and work in the area.
For your own safety, avoid confrontations around the occupation. Those without a need to enter should avoid the area for the time being.
While on Twitter, Mayor Ted Wheeler has urged those who gather to stand down, while authorizing police to use all lawful means to end what he calls an illegal occupation.
Was that from his penthouse?
Yeah, Ted. Yeah, Mississippi. They're wanting the you know what it is, Shanda? You know how much property is worth in Portland these days?
Oh yeah, and they're trying to gentrify this block where they're like the last house left. So I believe that they did take this house by predatory means.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
Well, look at the structures around it. I mean, this is prime real estate. And just like Obama did with those 6 million people, threw them out of their homes. That was prime real estate too. So the banks bail out the banks and just throw the people out on the street. I grew up in Portland, so if anybody wants to discuss this or argue a point or anything, they can. But Mississippi, I think it's in that MLK area. I mean, it's just switched because of gentrification, because of the property values and everything else since I was there back in the 80s. So once again, we have that.
I thought this was a story where people pushed the cops out. They did push the cops out, Jilly. The cops literally tucked tail and freaking ran because there was too many protesters, and so now the cops, of course, are regrouping and they'll go.
Oh yeah, and they're throwing stuff up there. We found 2 handguns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. I wonder how many people have a couple of handguns minimum in their house and several hundred rounds of ammunition in this country. Is that like, whoa, they were going to start a revolution? Well, that's pretty common, and most of the people I know have a hell of a lot more than 2 handguns in their house. So
don't be a well-armed militia.
Yeah, don't have years of collecting or inheriting, some weapons from your family. I mean, give me a break. Don't start that shit. This is my stomping ground. You brought this. What is this?
Yeah, this is another picture of Portland, but you're the one who pointed out to me where it was.
Yeah, this is West Delta Park, a turnoff. This is a big off the expressway there. I think I-5s runs along there too, but it's a turnoff, and they've got like loop-de-loops going underneath, and people are building structures in the right-of-way here. What are those? Those are garages?
Hey, innovation.
Wow. That's horrible. That's horrible.
This just tells me, because they own vehicles, that at some point they were stable enough to buy these vehicles. They probably had houses, and we're going to see more and more of this, especially as the 20 million people who owe $5,000 or more in back rent are going to be booted out of their houses.
Well, yeah, 5,000 or more. I bet you they even might have a cell phone, and one of those cell phones might even be an iPhone, Shanda.
Not an iPhone.
Oh my God, they might.
You know how much I can sell my iPhone for that I paid $1,000? $20 is all I can get after spending $1,000 for it, because I have 2. So I was like, oh well, maybe I'll refurbish and send this one back for $20 is not even worth it.
Yeah, I completely I understand. This is nuts.
Tacoma got a UBI. I hadn't heard that. I'm gonna have to reach out to my Tacoma peeps and get the info.
Yeah. Well, I hope they got something. Somebody's got to get something somewhere.
Tacoma needs it. They are one of the worst off counties in Washington State.
Oh yeah, my daughter lives up there, and she says it's just gone nuts in the last since she's been there. So
when we were there for the state convention in 2016, the roads were like nothing I had ever drove on in my life. The potholes, if you went through a pothole in a little car, you were just going to disappear.
Yeah. Yep. It was. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough out there, folks. What you brought, George?
Bipartisanship usually means that there's a larger than usual deception is being carried out.
Here. That's exactly true. And this transfers to the language. They're talking about this stimulus bill. They want to do a bipartisan thing. That means bipartisan means to screw the public and take care of the donor class and the corporations. That's when they come together on bipartisanship issues. When you hear the neolibs or the neocons talking about, well, we want to have a bipartisan bill here, that's total bullshit. That's code for screwing you. And George had it way back when, and he's still right today. Modern day prophet in his own mind. Now this one I brought it. Yeah, I brought it to Red Economics TV show yesterday, but we ran a different segment of this. This is Richard Wolff again. This isn't Macron. Macron was a segment I ran over there at Stevie's. This is Richard Wolff talking about what the hell they should be doing with stimulus and how they should be handling the COVID. I agree with him 100%.
Joining me now to go further in depth on this topic is host of Economic Update and author of The Sickness is the System, Professor Richard Wolff. Now, Professor, Democrats and Republicans have spent months saying they can't agree on a stimulus package to help the millions of Americans who can't afford to put food on the table or to pay their rent, yet they somehow came together to pass a $740 billion defense bill with resounding support. What kind of a message does that send?
Well, I'm afraid it sends a very old and very tragic message that the tens of millions of people who stand to get crucial assistance during the worst economic crash and the worst public health disaster in a century count less for the Republicans and Democrats than the big businesses that produce defense equipment, the military, and all of that, who all together do not have a small fraction of the number of people's lives at stake the way the people do who are depending on that stimulus. So it is a terrible exposure of the upside down nature of what the priorities for Republican and Democratic leaderships really are in our society.
And it certainly raises a lot of questions for those members of Congress who went forward with passing it. Now, the latest NDAA also included a provision to prevent the Trump administration from continuing with plans to bring troops home from Afghanistan.
Yeah, listen to that.
Now they're still not making moves to prioritize the needs of the people they serve, and they're continuing the longest war in U.S. history. I mean, why do you think that we aren't seeing more outrage over this right now?
Well, I don't think it has sunk in quite. You know, it takes a while to absorb this kind of thing. I think a lot of Americans don't want to see exactly what's going on because it's kind of really bad news about the people that are in a position to help all of us but aren't doing so. So my sense is it's going to take a little while for the implications of all of this. And then, of course, we are going through a crisis of our health, a crisis of our economic system, a government which shows it is more concerned with a booming stock market and with wars in other countries that most of us don't think we should have been in the first place. It is a statement about the difference, the disconnect between the priorities of those at the top and the rest of them.
Yeah. I think that was pretty telling, the priorities, their priorities.
Yeah.
And I chirped up, hey, Snorky.
Yeah, I was just saying hey to Snorky. Yeah.
I chirped up when they were talking about putting provisions so Trump couldn't withdraw any troops from these wars. Aha! You see what they're doing here. Where's the damn anti-war party? And where is the actual...
It died in the Democratic Party.
It did. The Democratic Party is the party of war. And getting in there and qualifying them as being a party of the people, you better rethink that.
Yeah.
You know, there's really... there is some hope. I did find this last...
Okay, so I just want to say, what is that reporter's name? Rachel Blevins? Is that who she is?
On RT?
Yeah.
I don't
know what it is about her. She does great work. She does excellent research, but there's something about her voice that is whiny to me. I have to turn her off sometimes. I just feel like she whines about what she's saying.
Well, maybe she's a student of the Neurotandon Voice Academy.
Yeah, I don't know. Her voice kind of irritates me.
I'm sorry.
But her work is solid. Her work is
solid. Well, Jesse Ventura has a gal who's very good on his, too. I mean, she sounds like she's in high school, this one, but she's articulate and she asks good questions. I did find some hope here, Shanda.
Yes, whiny. I agree, Jilly.
Yeah, whiny, Neurotandon, all the way. When I think of whiny, I think of Neurotandon. Once again, Taylor Swift has saved 2020. I know that everybody is relieved that Taylor has jumped in there and saved 2020. What this is in the context of, I will show you. This is the big reveal here. See if we can see that. Surprise album Evermore praised by fans. So talk about privileged insanity. I mean, yeah, and I'm not knocking this artist at all, but when we have the hero worship of Taylor Swift, their sports figures and everything else, while people are lining up in body bags to lose their homes and their health care, This is what's going to save you. So good luck with that. Here's one that I found was quite nice. Competition destroyed kindness. The competitive system created a vampire. Yeah, and honestly, back in the day when I was in one of my jobs, that's the kind of mentality that I went around with, was that vampire thing. How much could I drag out of people to pay for something? And that's a cross I'm going to have to bear for a long time, because I was just so wrong. But I've been socially conditioned to think that way. So I'm over it now. Jeffrey Denton. Jeffrey Denton has a great one here. When I was wrong, Jeffrey, I had to put this up. I like Kermit. What? I was wrong once, but I was wrong about it, and it was just that one time. Go figure, hardy har har har. I don't always get blocked on Facebook, but when I do, it's a good indication I was right and they couldn't handle it. Yeah, Jeffrey, exactly so. And it's getting more and more like that all the time. All right, gotta have my Ryzen clips.
Okay.
Sorry, but this one's from yesterday, and this kind of illustrates what you're in store for with this great, wonderful administration that's going to solve all of our problems. So I've got 2 cuts in this. Bear with me. I think you'll enjoy it as much as I didn't.
Listen to how Biden responds to a questioner's specific concern about a lack of action and progress.
A lot of people in our community are getting a little anxious because they are not seeing enough of the progress they thought they would have seen at this point. Let's not disappoint them.
Check this out.
And let's not get
nuts.
to a place where voters in Georgia begin to second guess.
Okay, let me respond. I've got to go. Let me respond. There's a lot to respond to here. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number 1. Number 2. I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I'm the only person who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election, and I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else. No progressive was talking about it.
No progressive.
I did.
No progressive. Okay.
So he's asked about progress, and he says, hey, I talked about Charlottesville. Isn't that enough for you people? I mean, in fairness, it is more or less all that he promised on the campaign trail, but you can't really blame people for wanting a little bit more now that Biden is ascending to the heights of American power. Words matter, sure, but actions matter.
Yeah, I would say actions matter. And to me, the words of presidents, that means George Bush, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. He was making that a blank statement. No, they don't, Joe. And his assertions there, I believe they were very false. My falsometer was ticking. Again, Shanda,
I just want to say, the whole let's get something straight, that is so fucking passive aggressive. I mean, he does that all the freaking time, but I mean what I say when I remember what I say.
Yeah, exactly. When I remember. Why? I mean, this guy is just going to be a peach, and this administration is setting up the people, the Democratic Party, the people to get slaughtered in 2022 and 2024. Now I'm going to finish it out. This one just capped this off, and this is another cut of that audio, and I think it's over at Substack. I'm not sure, or Ryan Gribbs, whatever. Check this out, and then we'll have a short discussion. We're almost out of here today, but I want to run this for you.
Listen to how Biden responds to a questioner's specific concern about a lack of action and progress.
A lot of people in our community are getting a little anxious because they are not seeing enough of the progress they thought they would have seen at this point.
That's the same one. That was the same one. Here, let me try it again.
Critical piece. Biden goes out of his way to pour cold water on the idea of doing much more than rolling back Trump-era executive orders using his own new powers.
And so there's some things that I'm going to be able to do by executive order. I'm not going to hesitate to do it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do what used to Benita, you probably used to get angry with me during the debates when you'd have some of the people you were supporting said, on day one, I'm going to executive order to do this. Not within the constitutional authority. I am not going to violate the Constitution.
Oh, shit.
Executive authority that my progressive friends talk about is way beyond the bounds.
Why does he keep attacking progressives?
One of you said, maybe you were.
That's the enemy.
Well, whether it's far left or far right, there is a Constitution.
Constitution.
It's our only hope. Our only hope.
Obi-Wan.
And the way to deal with it is where I have executive authority, I will use it to undo every single damn thing this guy has done by executive authority.
Oh, good.
But I'm not going to exercise executive authority where it's questioned, where I can come along and say, I can do away with assault weapons. There's no executive authority to do away with that.
Oh, God, he pandered to the right
your
on that.
arguments about the class dynamics of canceling student debt back in the drawer, because this guy, he's not planning on doing anything, let alone something as big as that. He's not even going to try, and once again punches left the progressives who dared to suggest he might actually have the power to get something done. So with those words, and more importantly, with those intentions, Joe Biden has essentially just flushed his presidency down the toilet, and the country right along with it. He knows he's not going to get anything from Congress. He has no intention of fighting through executive action and is apparently operating under the delusion that we should all view him as some kind of hero for just saying the words racism in Charlottesville enough times. Well, at least he's committed to giving Mayor Pete the right springboard for his political ambitions. I can't possibly overstate how important Biden's attitude towards executive action really is. It means substantively that we're going to have complete gridlock and next to zero progress. And a lack of progress while the bottom is falling out doesn't mean you stay in the same place. It means collapse. It means destruction. That lack of progress politically means that Democrats are going to get absolutely destroyed in the midterm elections as a nation rightfully enraged by how they've been left out to dry seeks revenge on those at the top. And it means that the populist rage, which brought us Trump and Bernie, is only going to grow in strength and import. When FDR surveyed the utter devastation from the Great Depression, he wrote that, quote, "It is time for the country to become fairly radical for a generation." Joe Biden has surveyed the destruction wrought by not only a depression, but a pandemic and mass social unrest, and decided that now was the time to hew to the right, not to rock the boat, and hope that empty rhetoric alone will suffice. Unless he has a dramatic come-to-Jesus moment and rethinks this foolhardy approach, there will be hell to pay. There is nothing but extreme danger and pain in this safe course that he is.
Oh, thank God. I just find those clips so painful, I got to tell you.
Yeah. Are you going to argue with Crystal on that?
No, I'm not going to argue with Crystal. He was punching the left. Let's be clear. His whole candidacy started in the toilet.
Yeah.
It remained in the toilet. It has been nothing but a big pile of shit. And for him to say, I'm not going to use any executive orders, bullshit. He's already said he's going to put one out there to mask up for the first 100 days, right? That's a bullshit order that goes against our Constitution. But moreover, this whole point about them suppressing both the radical left and the radical right, what is it? Thomas Jefferson, who said that from time to time, the tree of liberty has to be stoked with the blood of patriots. That's what they're creating by not allowing us to be radical within our political system. Means we have no choice but to push back on the outside.
Wow. What she said. You're right. Jilly says, Biden, I'll do nothing but roll back Trump's EOs.
Which we're rolling back Biden's EOs. So
yeah.
It's going to roll Biden's or Trump's or Obama's bullshit.
Obama's bullshit. So it's hot potato. Okay, Democrats, your turn to fuck it up. So, but we don't.
Can I point out, I don't think that the ones that the progressives actually supported will be the ones that'll be rolled back, like the Iran deal. I really don't think that Biden gives a shit to get back into the Iran deal.
Well,
I hope he does, but I don't see that.
I don't either. I think they're hell bent on fomenting more war and more profit for all those involved in more war. Speaking of patriots, you brought this.
Yeah, if you're progressive, the road for your movement inside the Democratic Party leads to a graveyard. And, Shama said this to my face in 2016, and I had just been newly elected as a PCO of the Democratic Party. And I looked at her and said, oh no, I'm going to do what Bernie asked me to do. I'm going in the party to fight. So, here we are 4 years later with the reorgs, and I fought my ass off on every front line within the Democratic Party, from the county level all the way up to the DNC. And I'm here to tell you, you are not going to change that party. You are not going to sway that party. You are not going to fix that party. You are not going to take that party over. Our movement just feeds it with the blood of these sacrificial progressives that go in there.
Yep. I couldn't agree more, and more power to those of you who have the stomach to work within that thing. We're not, but it's a graveyard, and I've got mixed emotions. I guess what I said this morning to a group was, don't let them steal your energy.
They
at
do.
all.
They
Don't
suck it like a vampire.
Don't give them any more than you have to, because we need that energy for direct actions on these corrupt politicians, direct actions on them. Don't skirt it by. Don't just say, well, we'll ignore it and work on policy. We need direct actions on the corruption. We need direct actions on policy positions. Medicare for all. They're already gearing up millions and millions of dollars to fight the public option with this front group. I was listening to somebody this morning. So we need to take Medicare for all and break it off in their forehead until we get it. And we need any politician, no matter what party, that is not for Medicare for all. That's the litmus test. That means they are bought and paid for by the corporate oligarchy. So if you want to argue with Oz about this, I got a million people that'll argue right back. I just sit here and watch.
I love Jilly Love's comment here. It says, may as well try to change the Repug party.
Yeah.
You're right. You might as well try to join the Republicans. And
I think you got a better chance.
Get further. Yeah.
I think you got a better chance of changing and reforming the Republican. Again, we can't look at this party structure as the be all end all of the diversity in this country. We need to unite all these different parties on the issues that are most important. We have a Wipey Award. I've never seen these people before. Who was this?
I don't know. There was a couple of good ones. So the first one is Rowdy Peasant Comic. I like the name. The reason we only get a landlord bailout in April and no other UBI or Medicare for all during a pandemic, like in other countries, is because it would destroy the myth that we can't afford these things and spoil the lie of conservatism in our country that prints its own currency. #stimulus. The next one is I'm going to need a vote blue no matter who translator to explain to me how Joe Biden appointing a weapons contractor to run the Pentagon is any different at all from Donald Trump appointing a CEO of ExxonMobil to run the State Department.
There is no difference. There is no difference. It's the club. It's the ones that supported you all your life. It's backdoor payoffs is what it is. So
this is a funny for you guys just to laugh on a Friday morning.
All right. We love funnies. Speaking of funnies, Beauty and the Boomer tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific. All right. Let's have this funny. I need a laugh.
There's no way, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy as hell.
So you're telling me Bill Gates invented chlamydia, dude?
That's straight facts, dude. Bill Gates invented chlamydia so he could be in control of your genitals.
Oh, gee, that is not tight, dude.
Let me guess, you've been drinking a lot of tap water too lately, huh?
Dude, I freaking love tap water, dude.
Yeah, well, the government would love to hear that because they put fluoride in tap water to calcify your pineal gland so that they can brainwash the population.
Wait, so I'm dumb?
Yeah, dude, you're an idiot.
All right, but have you heard about flat Earth theory?
Yeah, but that's stupid, dude. I've seen the Earth circle.
All right, well, have you heard about Molly Earth theory?
What's that?
Dude, apparently the center of the Earth is just a core of Molly, and it's getting smaller and smaller, and that's why everybody's so mean and angry at each other right now, dude.
That makes sense, dude. It explains all the Karens.
Dude, all these Karens just need some Molly, dude.
I could sell Molly to the Karens. So wait, are you like an expert on this shit?
Yeah, I got my degree in truth studies.
From where?
Reddit University.
So you ever look up at the sky and like see those white things?
Vape clouds?
No, dude, you gotta look past the vape clouds. I'm talking about the chemtrails in the stratosphere.
Chemtrails?
Yeah, dude. Jay-Z literally put them there so that he could control the weather to summon Satan, dude.
I got 99 problems.
And the Illuminati ain't one, dude. If Hillary Clinton came in here right now with a vial of baby blood and said you could join the Illuminati, all you gotta do is drink this baby blood. You join in?
If you could shotgun 4 Loko, you could shotgun some baby blood, dude.
You're right, dude.
Oh!
Ah, shit, I forgot, dude. This wasn't a movie, this was a documentary. Which pill did you take, the red or the blue?
Red pill all day, dude. You're the one that sold it to me.
Oh, yeah, I did sell it to you at Coachella.
You need to wake up, dude.
Goddamn right, dude. You heard of Pizzagate, right?
Yeah, dude, the politicians having sex with pizzas, dude.
Dougrat.
It's disgusting, dude.
Dougrat.
It's pizza sex.
You want me to tell you about the moon landing? Stanley Kubrick film that shit in Joshua Tree on mushrooms, dude. Why is the fucking flag still waving, dude? Why is it still waving? There's no wind in space.
Dude, and that camera on your computer, dude?
What about the camera on the computer?
Put a piece of tape over that shit, dude, because little FBI agents are watching you freaking jerking off, dude, while you're on your computer just chilling, dude.
They're watching me jerk off, and they're probably jerking off to me jerk off.
There's a big jerk off circle, dude.
That's disgusting, dude.
Dude, these sick dude.
Have you ever heard of Finland?
Damn, I don't know anybody that's been to Finland, dude.
Yeah, the entire country is a fucking conspiracy, dude. Doesn't exist. Wake up!
All right, but dude, have you seen this?
Yes, we can.
Obama?
Yeah, dude, but look at his fingers, dude. I-L-L-U-M.
Oh, I think we missed the cut.
I-N-A-T-I, dude.
Yeah.
10 fingers, 10 letters in Illuminati, dude.
Almost.
Coincidence?
Wow, dude. So it's 100% confirmed he's a reptile.
Lizard people are real, dude.
We're just now getting the message. M-E-S-S-A-G-E.
10 minus 7 is 3, dude.
Oh, shit, dude.
What apartment do you live in?
3B.
B?
Bryler.
Blake?
Bryler.
Blake,
Two
dude.
dudes living in 3B times 3 is 6, plus 10 times
4
2
seconds.
is 26, which means Jeffrey
Epstein didn't kill
himself.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
I really like Brent Pella. He is hilarious.
Yeah, that was thanks for the laugh. I need see my facial muscles. I think I look younger when I'm smiling because when I'm frowning I look like some old fucker. So, you know, you brought this. Here you go.
This is a flashback to this time last year. So the next time you're feeling poor and you can't fill your gas tank and you hold back tears trying to put together a grocery trip that can get you and your family through a week on $40, remember the stock market is at a record high and America is great again.
Oh my God.
So that's how far we've come in a year.
$40 a week. I just no. Yeah, like I said, here it comes, ready to rip your guts out. We get the funniest looks from all the crooks on Wall Street. Hey, we're the morons. Anyway, this was mentioned in a meeting last night, so I looked it up. When this is Cardinal Dom Helder Camara, I don't know, whatever. It's a religious. When I give food to the poor, they call me a saint. When I ask why the poor have no food, they call me a communist. Yeah.
I'm so tired of being called a communist. You know, I watched the most amazing thing the other day. It was a Russian couple, a communist couple in 1936 that came to America, and they literally took a road trip from New York to LA and back. And they'd never seen America. So this is their impressions of America in 1936. Now, this is before the war. This is as communist Russia is just now starting to come into, you know, their communism, and they're building their big mill works and plants and shit. And so they think that they have a solid future. And it was so shocking at how they perceived how we treat the poor in 1936 in America, you know, because this was during Dust Bowl and the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And so they went to New Orleans and they went to LA and Hollywood. They were totally disgusted by Hollywood. They were disgusted by the homeless, how we were treating people of color. And I just found it so ironic, you know, their descriptions of, Russia's going to prosper. We know where we're going in the next 50 years. America doesn't. And to be called a communist constantly, I get why it pisses people off. It pisses me off. I'm not a communist. I don't want us to live under a socialism. Everybody shares everything. A capitalism, a capitalistic system, that is what we are, but we have to balance it. And that's what we're lacking. And that's what FDR understood, is that if we don't balance it, we lose capitalism altogether.
Oh, absolutely. It's the same thing that it was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's privatize the profits and socialize the losses. Yeah. Get it through our heads. Privatize the profits, socialize the losses. Yeah. And it's gotten to the point, it's so ridiculous now. We are on the precipice of total economic failure. Not only
socialism, but it's for the elite.
Yeah, socialism for the elite. Yeah, you know, make sure we take care of them, bail out their banks, bail out their companies, but bail, and we don't do anything as far as helping everybody in time of crisis. This is, you brought this for Fee Says. Hi, Fee Says.
Hi, Fee Says. So if you're in the restaurant industry, a small business owner, a server, a bartender, a cook, a busser, etc., if you're in retail and have been devastated by corona shutdowns, I want to hear from you. Working on another project to give a voice to people who are hurting, message me. So reach out to Combo Couch with your stories of your small businesses being damaged, hurt by these policies, and they want to talk to you.
Well, this is where it's at. This is part of the direct actions. Yeah. You know, we need to talk to each other. We need to talk to these people who are stepping up.
Yeah.
And we're having these stupid infighting wars in social media right now. People are mad about Nina Turner running for Congress as far as being a Democrat, and they're mad about Tulsi Gabbard because she said something that's being conflated as being transphobic. You know, I don't want to argue about that shit. What I want to do is find the places that we're on common ground with and move forward. Because if we get caught up in this garbage that they're throwing in front of us and lighting on fire, and we're all taking their red meat and just chewing it up, we're never going to make it out of this mess. Not that we might anyway.
No, I won't get pulled into these stupid woke arguments.
No, I
find it asinine. It pisses me off.
Yeah.
And it just fractures us more. And as far as Nina Turner, hey, Nina will always have my support. She's one of the most powerful progressive speakers in the world. But I don't agree with her going into the Democratic Party. She'll get, they'll suck her soul is what they'll do.
Yeah, they will. And although, like you said, I will support her.
I do support her.
I support her. But what has history shown us when progressives, people, outspoken activists have gone into the Democratic Party, particularly in the last 5 years? We've made inroads, yes, I'll grant you that. But for every one we make, we lose 10 or 20. Yeah. So, is that the way we have to do it? Maybe. I don't know. But I personally, I'm with Shanda 100%. I'm not going to bleed to death for these guys anymore. I'm going to use my energies to help our sisters and brothers in other ways. And I will support those who have the stomach to go in on this, like Nina. And I hope we can get something out of it. Once again, we're at the end of the show. Thank you very much. We got some announcements. Shanda?
We have announcements. So I'm going to be on with Stevie tonight, Redneckonomics. I think you can catch us here on Roar. I'm not. Yeah, we're going to go on Roar tonight, right?
I hope so. If Stevie allows me to mess it up again.
Next week, I want to start doing shows on Stevie's channel, too, because we want to start reaching her constituents. I love Stevie. I love her perspective on everything. I'm excited to sit down and do a chat with her tonight. And then, of course, we have Beauty on the Boomer tomorrow night. Oz has got his wigs all warmed up.
Yeah, warmed up, deloused, and ready to go. We're going to go out to... yes. We've got Roar Media. That's our Giving Tuesday. Amber King, thank you for that. Super chats are turned on the Natural Progressive Roar channel. We had a great meeting last night. Like I said, we're making some headway. We're going to be sending out a press release within the next day or so, I believe. It looks great. I just read it this morning.
Pressers.
I do too. Again, thank you, everybody. We hope to see you again soon. And by the way, Stevie, if you want to give me a managership over on your channel, I can produce it over there too. It doesn't have to come out of Roar, but if you'd like to share it with Roar, that would be great. Let's talk soon. Talk today. So involve me in that conversation. Now, we all like Beth Hart, right?
I love Beth Hart.
We're gonna. It's Friday. I feel all right now. I hope I feel the same way in the next few days. But right now, I feel all right, and I think Beth Hart expresses it quite well. Thank you so much, Shanda. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later tonight with Redneckonomics and the Accidental Activists. Ciao, everybody.
Ciao.
Beth Hart.
Smiling from my head to her feet, I said, hey, what is this? Baby, she's in need of a kiss. to you now. I took her home to my